Hey everybody, Stitch1993 here. Welcome back to another What Was video, where I talk about a television show or mini-series that I feel is pretty underrated and isn't talked about much. So today we're looking at Bingo and Molly.
Bingo and Molly.
Now, the one thing that I find interesting about this show in my research is there isn't much I could find about the show other than an IMDb page and a note on the Learning Channel's program broadcast list. There isn't much of anything about this show that I could find. So it did show up as one of the children's shows on the Learning Channel between 1997, which was the year it was produced, through 2002.
Oh, right. Okay, a surprise. Well, I'll see you later then.
It was about a boy and girl, brother and sister bunny, with Bingo and Molly, as they learned through their neighborhood and learning different social skills.
I don't have a mustache. Just wait till I get my paws on her. Wait till I get my paws on her. Oh,
You had a whole cast of animal characters, from bears,
Duck just called me Little Miss Nosy.
moles,
He called me Chubby Cheeks. That wasn't very kind.
wolves,
nice to see you. And what a fine hat you're wearing. You're just in time for a story.
and a duck that also thought he was a bunny.
But I thought you liked pretending to be a rabbit.
Oh, I do. Only sometimes I like to be something else.
That's never really explained. He's just always just in a bunny costume. It's just his quirk. Another thing to mention about this show is at least twice an episode, sometimes 3 times, a singing carrot will show up along with 3 backup singing sunflowers that will sing a song about whatever lesson the show is about.
They said he looked silly and the hat looked dumb. He should send it back where it came from.
And it's like supposed to be something the audience is supposed to just automatically be fine with. The carrot and the sunflowers never get referenced by any of the other characters. I don't even think any of the other characters acknowledge the existence of this carrot that looks like Max Headroom if he were on the VeggieTales, nor the sunflowers. And it's not like something like Timmy the Tooth, where really anything could be alive, like the mailbox or the flowers in that show. This is like everything, all the other characters are animals, except for this one vegetable and these 3 flowers. The songs aren't bad, they're sung decently well for a children's television show. And again, they're all based on like life lessons, so it's not going to be like anything bad or ear grating. Not really catchy though. They're kind of just 1-minute songs, just kind of repeating what's happened in the episode till then. And of course, near the end, they'll sing a song about what you were supposed to learn. So friendship or being nice, forgiving, anything like that. And yeah, it's just kind of an interesting little thing I would always like to point out there. And then also, speaking of stuff that revolves around whatever plot is taking place, almost every episode they go to Mr. Growl, who is the wolf, and I believe is like the oldest character in the show, just kind of in his mannerisms, and I think it's with the way he dresses, it's kind of meant to be like the grandfather for these characters here. And they'll always, at least one character, sometimes multiple, will go to him and let them know about the issue they're running into with their friends or, siblings, if it's Bingo and Molly specifically. And Mr. Growl, of course, will almost always have a book that revolves around the issue. So he lives near this giant book tree, and it's literally a tree that grows books. And he'll just pluck one off and read it, and then we see a little, 1 to 2 minute little animated story play out, narrated by Mr. Growl. And the animation's semi-limited animation, but it's pretty decent for the time and for a Saturday morning cartoon for the late 90s, early 2000s. Nothing to write home about, but it's decent.
God, was that a flying potato that just went past?
If it was, it's the biggest potato I've ever seen.
The interesting thing about this show is the puppetry style. Now, most shows of this time were more more akin to the Jim Henson Muppet type of look, but the puppets in Bingo and Molly took a slightly more realistic take on the characters, almost kind of a slightly cartoonish taxidermy look to the characters, at least for most of them. Of course, the bodies and the hands were either feather or fur, but the faces were more of a latex with some fur sewn into them to give them a more malleable structure, and so they could kind of do a bit more expressions than your average puppet could do.
It's Duck. He just called me Chubby Cheeks.
With that, the show has a unique design and look to it that I feel keeps it timely, but also isn't too creepy. One interesting thing, personally, with this show is my wife loathes puppet shows. She either finds them too childish, too weird, or too creepy. Except this show, which I always ask her, is like, these characters look a bit more realistic, but she always says she likes them because they kind of look like stuffed animals. Which, yeah, if that's what you feel, then definitely from the scenes you're seeing here, definitely go and check this show out. It's thankfully an easy to find show. It's available on pretty much all the streaming networks, even the free ones. I watch it on Tubi, and I believe it's also available on Pluto. The entire series is on there. Couldn't find a DVD of the series, so I'm not sure if the show ever came to any physical media other than one or two VHSs, which are out of print and are really expensive based on my research here. So if you got any sort of way to stream it, it's also available here on YouTube. So let me know what your thoughts are about this series. Did you grow up with TLC, the Learning Channel, or did you watch it? I know it showed on some other channels later on. I think it showed on ETV or PBS during one of those time periods. Or is this your first time hearing about the show? And what are your thoughts on the puppet style? Do you think it's creepy, or do you think it's cute? Or do you think it's a very interesting take on the animal style that was going on around this time? And of course, let me know down in the comments of any other television shows or miniseries you'd like me to look into and give an overview on. And of course, remember to like and subscribe for future videos. And thank you, and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Was that a flying potato that just went past?
If it was, it's the biggest potato I've ever seen.